Welcome back to Nothing But Nets. I wanted to get into some thoughts on Ben Simmons. It's that time of year where he's got workout videos leaking, and Ben Simmons is healthy. Ben Simmons is returned. Before we get to that, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media at 3D Boxing. Uh, Also, smash the like button, subscribe, do all the free stuff. Leave a comment, thoughts, all the stuff that the algorithm loves. I want to get into today's show. Some thoughts on Ben Simmons. It happens every time this year. Ben Simmons does a workout video. We rehype Ben Simmons and we say, "Is Ben Simmons back to All Star form?" I just kind of want to touch on that. Again, I'm live from my hotel room in Glendale, Arizona, ahead of the Jaime Munguia fight on ESPN. Uh, why my setting and my background is different. Um, but Ben Simmons is not getting back to All Star form. That's out. Those days are done with. He's not going to be an All Star again. If I said he's going to give you 8.7 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, somewhere in that, and he's going to play 30 minutes a game, you would take it. That is so far from an All Star, but that's a good realistic expectation for Simmons. And I'm not saying he can't help a team. If he plays, I've always said I think he's a quality player that can impact winning. I think he can help you win. Now, he's not an all-star. All-star is a numbers game. He's not even close to that. I'd like to use him in a backup role where he plays 25 minutes a game off the bench. He offers you a lot, right? But what are we going to get from him? Well, Ben Simmons is in his contract year. So Ben Simmons has to decide, does he want to play in the NBA anymore? Because if he doesn't want to play in the NBA anymore, take your $40 million, chill out, have your little injuries, don't rush back, and then you can go play next year in China and be a legend, average 20 and 10 in China, 20, 10, and 10, average triple doubles, do all types of crazy things in China. And you can do that. You can make a ton of money, and you can live like a king. Or do you want to play in the NBA? If you want to play in the NBA, you're going to have to get in the court, and you're going to have to contribute. Now, he's basically sat out this whole contract. I'm going to get into the numbers in just a little bit. He's basically sat out the whole season, his whole contract, 3 seasons. He's played very little in 3 years. So if he wants to play, he's going to have to play, so he's going to have to contribute. And at the end of that, maybe he can get a vet minimum deal. If he plays well and he plays most of the season injury-free, someone else is going to take him on a bigger contract. I don't see that happening. I can't see him grinding every day, playing close to all 82 games. You're playing 75 games, 30 minutes a game, and putting up numbers. I can't see him putting himself through that. It's a difficult thing to do. He's obviously not mentally the toughest person in the world, to be fair. But what can we expect from him? What do the Nets do? Let's start that. I've said this before, and I've taken criticism for this. Healthy Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons back to Ben Simmons form. Impacts winning more than Mikal Bridges did. So if you're getting Ben Simmons from Philly, you're getting a more impactful player, right? Ben Simmons didn't play last year. He played 12 games, whatever it was, 15 games. That don't count. He didn't play last year. You played last year without Ben Simmons. Fair enough. You won 32 games. If you put him in and he played 82 like Bridges does, you're better than you were last year. And this upsets Nut fans because Nut fans want Ace, they want Cooper. What I'm saying is this team is not as big. That's what Simmons offers you. If you have a lineup of Simmons, Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Claxton, and then Clowney plays the backup 3, 4, and 5, and he plays 25, 28 minutes a game that way, you're not that bad of a team. You're not good, obviously. You're not a playoff team, but you're about what you were last year. And this is upsetting to Net fans. And I understand why. The Nets don't want to draft 7 or 8 or 9. They want to draft 1 or 2. And I understand. I want to draft 1 or 2. But you might not be that bad. And when you have guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, like Cam Thomas, like Ben Simmons, all playing for contracts, they're going to have to win. And they're going to have to compete. So the Nets have to decide what they want to do with Ben Simmons. And I've done a video on this, and I've made a couple of suggestions. You can just send Ben Simmons home the way the Knicks did with Stephon Marbury. Just send him home. Take your $40 million, Stay away. Let him play out his contract. See if anyone else will take a flyer on him. Maybe next year. Whatever. He's not my. I'm paying him to stay away. That's option one. Option two is you can play him. You can start him. You can play him. And you can keep him throughout the season. He's going to help you win games. You're going to win games with him. Like, I'm just letting you know that. He's a quality player who contributes in a number of ways. The third option is you can play him a little bit, show that he's healthy, and then try to move him. I don't know what you can get for him. I've thrown around the idea of moving him to Chicago, getting Lonzo Ball, and then extending Ball on the cheap while you can. I like that idea. That's what I would do if possible. I don't know if it is. But I'll give you Ben. I'll give you a second rounder to take Ben Simmons' contract in his final year. You give me Lonzo Ball, who you want to move off from, and I will try to extend Lonzo Ball. That's my point guard of the future. I can match him in the backcourt with Cam Thomas. I think that makes a bit of sense. You know, Ball's a taller point guard. He can defend the one or the two. He can make up defensively for what Cam lacks. I think that makes sense. It's just a hypothetical. As far as Ben Simmons, he's a massive point guard that can fill and defend a position. He also kills spacing. He does things that help you. He does things that hurt you. He's obviously not good in the half-court set. It's not a strength. He is a very good up-tempo, fast-break point guard. Does he help a team in the playoffs? Yeah, because he can basically play that point center role, right? And he's one of the only guys in the history of the NBA that can really do this at this level. He can run the point and then get down to the dunker spot. So that allows you to have a multiple guard lineup. You can play three guards and still not go small because you got a 6'10" guy in the dunker spot. And then you can play your stretch four and you can play three guards. And you're not really going small. And that was what was so compelling about having him and KD together, was having these two, a wing and a point guard who is 6'10", 6'11", who can allow you to go big while going, have Kevin Durant at the 5, have Ben Simmons at the 1, and then have three scoring guards. You're not going small. You got two guys out there who are 6'10". So you're still going big with a small athletic lineup. It didn't come together. It didn't work. We never got to see it. We never got to see it. But he allows you that kind of flexibility, and that's the benefit in having him. He can guard your best player 1 through 5. He can run the point. He can line up in the dunker spot. But he does kill spacing. And having him on the court with Nick Claxton so far, that's not a huge sample size. It's been an unmitigated failure. Now, what can we expect from him? Well, if I said over under 27 and a half games, what would you guys take? 27 and a half games is not a lot. You take the under probably, right? If I said under over 850 minutes, 850 minutes is roughly 30 minutes a game for 27 games. If I said that, you're probably taking the under. So no one's expecting much. Which is why if he's healthy and you can move him to start the season, just move him. The last 3 years, he's played 57 games total. 57 games total in 3 years. 1,465 minutes. That's an average of 19 games and 488 minutes played. In the last 3 years, he's played 0, 42, and 15 games. That's 0, 1,105, and 359 minutes. Like I said, what do I realistically expect for Ben Simmons to produce this year? 8 points per game, 7 assists, 6 rebounds in about 30 minutes. I'm going to say 28 and a half minutes. That's what I think you can get from him. That's good enough where someone will give him a mid-level contract next year, a vet minimum contract next year. Someone will do that off of 8, 7, and 6 in 28 minutes, 28 and a half minutes a game, like it was my projection. Now, the only question is, is he on the court enough? And that's where Ben Simmons has to decide whether or not he wants to be an NBA player. Because if he wants to be an NBA player, someone out there is willing to give him a shot. I promise you that. Someone going out there will give Ben Simmons a shot. like I said, he contributes in a multitude of ways. He's a good player when he plays. He impacts winning when he plays. He can help a good team. He can help you with flexibility. He allows you to go with all different types of lineups. He helps you in that sense. He kills spacing, and I don't think you want him on the court necessarily in the final 4 minutes of the game, but you do want him on your roster throughout the game. In a playoff game, in the final 4 minutes of a 2-point game, do you want Ben Simmons on the court? Probably not. There could be a situation where which you do, but in most scenarios, you probably don't. Can they trade him? This is going to depend on whether or not he plays. If he plays and he's fairly healthy, I think they can help him. What's his value? Like I said, I argue that Ben Simmons in Philly, which I don't think he's getting back to that level, impacts winning more than Mikal Bridges does. Bridges helped a lot and did a lot of good things, but you can see when he was asked to be the man, he couldn't really carry that burden, and that's okay. He's not going to be asked to do that with the Knicks, and the Nets got a trade package for Bridges that would make you think he can carry that burden. That's the Nets got a lot for him. They got more than he's worth. It was Simmons in the backcourt with Cam Thomas, with a front court of Cam, DFS, and Claxton. Now, I do think Cam and DFS are going to get moved and get traded at some point, especially if they're playing well and the Nets are winning. They're going to get moved. But to start the season, Simmons, Cam, DFS, and Claxton with Noah Clowney off the bench filling that role, playing all those minutes, it's not bad. Like, it's not terrible. Noah can stretch things. Like, you got Simmons and Claxton together, and then your best scorer, Cam Thomas, is a mid-range guy at his absolute best. Cam Johnson and DFS still fill the wings. It's not. This is Simmons and Claxton together is not ideal, but I'm also not going to say it can't work. It's going to take some creativity, and it's going to take a more innovative thinker than Jacques. So we're going to see what Simmons and Claxton can do together under Jordy. And basically, it just comes down to Ben Simmons. Does he want to play in the NBA? Does he want to play this year and play well? If he plays well, do the Nets resign him? I know that's an unthinkable thing, but like I said, if you're keeping Cam at the 2, you need a long one who can defend multiple positions. That's Ben Simmons. I just want to put it out there. I am not for signing Ben Simmons after this year to any contract. I'm just putting it out there. Ben Simmons is not going to return to All-Star form, but he's still a valuable piece on both ends. He can defend the opposition's best player. He can find open scores. He can make easy buckets, and he can take easy buckets away on the other end. He allows you to not go small while playing 3-guard rotations. He offers you quite a bit, and it's just a matter of, does he want to play? And that's been the question with him for 3 years. If he does, the Nets are going to have some options. If not, it's not the end of the world. If he decides he doesn't want to play again this year, it's the last year of his contract. Send him home. Sending him home is not the worst thing in the world. He is going to help you win games. Like, if I told you that Ben Simmons is going to help me win 5 games this year, would you take it? A lot of Net fans are going to say no, and I understand why. Because they don't want to be a 32-win team again. It's a terrible place to be where they were last year. And does a healthy Ben Simmons put you back there? Does he help you win too many games? There's a strong argument to be made for that. I do think he's still a credible, decent player. All right, y'all. Appreciate it. Leave your thoughts, comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me all forms at 3D Boxing. It is September 20th, 2024. From Texas to the world, thank you, and God bless.